What happens if the buyer wants to cancel the escrow? Our real estate market is changing. So what happens when there are complications when selling your home? When a market changes, transactions don't always close so smoothly. Especially in the beginning of a change in the market, there are a few common problems that can come up. One of the most frustrating is a canceled escrow. This is where the buyer wants to back out of the purchase. The reason may be financial. They can't get the loan, or the home doesn't appraise for the purchase price. Or the reason has to do with the property's condition. Now, this could be any number of things. The cost of repair is higher than anticipated. An undisclosed defect is discovered, or the buyer takes a second look at disclosures and decides that the property isn't for them. So what does the seller do at this point? If the buyer has a contingency and their reason falls under that contingency, they can cancel the escrow and retrieve their deposit. At this point, the seller's home goes back on the market and we find another buyer. If the buyer has removed their contingencies, however, this gets tricky. The buyer may be breaching contract if they decide not to go through with the purchase, and their initial deposit may be at risk. At this point, the agents on either side need to clearly communicate about what is going on and the best way to go forward. What makes the most sense in either case is to quickly find another buyer to replace the first one. If we ever need to cancel an escrow, we immediately get to work finding a replacement. We call all the agents and buyers who had expressed an interest. We follow up with all the buyer leads which have come in during the marketing. We call the agents who work the neighborhood just in case they may have a buyer who hasn't yet seen the property. If we need to put the home back on as active, we make sure we have the marketing in place to re-energize the buyer activity. It's also good to have a backup offer in hand, just in case that first buyer does have contingencies in their contract. This will put that backup buyer next in line to purchase. In many cases, this backup offer will actually keep the first buyer engaged. So when you're interviewing listing agents, ask how they handle canceled escrows. If they don't have a plan or they've never had to deal with a canceled escrow, you may need to keep looking for the right agent.